Good morning, friends. Welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny, and we're gardening here in Baltimore, Maryland, Zone 7. Today, we are going to look at our winter sowing status and reveal. We're going to check on all of our winter sowing projects and see how they did. It's time to open them up and let them be out in the sun. So let's take a look and see how they did. Back in February, I put together these winter sowing projects, and that is a method where you put seeds into little tiny mini greenhouses or mini terrariums, and then you put them out in the weather, out in the cold snow. And what that does, oh, guess what? My neighbors are having their gutters cleaned today. That's super annoying. I wonder if you can hear that. Winter sowing is a method by which you put seeds into soil in a little, really? Okay, change of plan. Whether it is the gutter washers or the lawn mowers or the leaf blowers or the weed whackers, there's just too much noise going on outside for me to do this video. So we moved inside. It's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so today we are going to do the big reveal of our winter sowing projects. It is way past time to start looking into these and see how they're doing. I can still hear the noise. I can still hear the noise. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. So you may remember, and I'll put a link into the video, I think it's gonna go up right up there, that I did a winter sowing project. Winter sowing is where you put soil into a small container that is somewhat clear, and then you put your seeds in there, and then you close it up tight, and you make sure it's moist inside. You put holes in the top for collecting rain, and you put holes in the bottom for drainage, and then you set them outside in the middle of winter. Yes, in the middle of winter. And what happens is that mimics Mother Nature's cycle of freezing, thawing. And when it's time, when Mother Nature says it's time for the seeds to wake up and start to germinate, they will do so on their own. This method works really well for seeds that prefer to self-seed in the garden, especially well for those. But I think you can do it for other types of seeds as well. I've got a pretty good variety of seeds here that we've done this project with. And so now it's time to open them up and see how they're doing. Let's start with this one. This one is a takeout container. It has holes in the top and the bottom. And in here is where I put some, what is it? Poppy seeds, California poppies, I believe. And I had my words are escaping me. I'm so mad at those workers out there. I'm not mad at them. They're just doing their job, but still, you know what I mean. Okay, I had direct sowed some poppy seeds out in a courtyard garden in the middle of winter. I just threw them right on top of some ice and snow, and everything I saw on Facebook said, not Facebook, okay. Everything I saw on YouTube told me that direct sowing on top of snow will work for poppies. Okay, well, here's the thing. I don't know what poppy seedlings look like, and I didn't want me or my husband to go out there and, you know, be weeding in a frenzy and then accidentally pull up my poppy seeds. So I decided to put some in this container as well so that we could see what they look like and so that I wouldn't weed out the ones that come up naturally. So let's open this up and see what we have. I see 5 poppy seedlings, 3 of which have totally shriveled up and died. This one is half dead, half alive. This one is mostly alive, and this one is still emerging from soil, and who knows. Okay, do we count this as a success or a failure? I think what I'll do is I'll start treating these like seedlings. I will keep them outside. All of these plants are going to live outside. I'm not going to do anything with them inside. I'm just going to open them up and let them live outside. So I'm going to fertilize these because these are in seed starting. My words. I don't have words. What is it? Seed starting mix? I guess. Okay, well anyway, there's no nutrients in this soil, so I'll give them a little bit of fertilizer so that they can start living the good life. Who knows? I don't know. It's all a great experiment. Anyway, poppies. That's that. Next, you know what I should have done is unfix these wires. I had drilled holes in these plastic containers and closed them up with craft wire, and it's kind of boring for you to watch me undo them. So anyway, this is a big fat nothing burger. We have in here cardinal flower. Wait a minute, did I lie? Maybe I lied. Okay, I have to get the camera and pull it. No, I can't move the camera because then I have to reset it, and I don't know. I'm not good at that. I should have 2 cameras. That's what I should do. I should invest in another camera. Why don't I do that? That would be smart. Wait, maybe I do have another camera. I have an iPad, will that work? Maybe that'll work. Oh, let's check. No, it has no battery. Jeez Louise, I can't win for losing. Okay, so anyway. Cardinal flower. I thought there was absolutely nothing happening in here. There are 150. Something in the more than 20, less than 1,000 range of little, teeny, tiny, I mean minuscule baby sprouts in there. The seed leaves on these are smaller than the head of a pin. And also there's a nice film of green algae growth. I'm going to bring this over here. All right, do you see these? There they are. Those little guys. Yeah. They decided to wake up. Good. I think what happened with this is I didn't realize cardinal flowers are actually a heat-loving summer annual. I don't know what I was thinking about them. Heat-loving summer annuals, not great candidates for winter sowing projects because they don't self-seed in the spring. Or maybe they do, I don't know. I'm not a horticulturalist, I'm a hobby gardener. Anyway, the cardinal flower I know is a heat lover annual and probably wanted to germinate with warm soil, warm air, so that it can grow in a warm climate. And winter sowing is not that. So maybe it's no surprise that the cardinal flowers are just now waking up after the soil has warmed up. It probably was waiting for some 60-degree temperatures before it would wake up. So anyway, I'm happy to see that we do have some cardinal flowers. What I'm going to do with these, I'm just going to take this container, I'm going to put it outside in my not a greenhouse. I'm going to keep it moist and warm. I'm going to let them all come up a little bit bigger, and then I'll thin them out, and then I'll treat them as if I had just direct sowed them outside. Boy, this is going to be kind of a hot mess of a video if things keep going the way they're going so far, but you know what? Here we are. This is real life. I thought I saw a bug crawling on my counter. Oh yes, there they are. Ants. Nice. Okay, well, whatever. Okay, winter sowing. Often you see people using like gallon-sized milk jugs for their containers. We don't drink gallons of milk in this house. We never have a whole gallon container in our house. Never. Even when we have our kids visit. We don't buy that kind of container, ever. So to say that it's free to have milk jugs as your container is not true for me. I would have to spend whatever it is. I don't even know what a gallon of milk costs these days. I don't know, $16? No, I'm kidding. $2? No, it's way more than that. It's probably like $4. Is it like $3.50 to $4 for a gallon of milk? I don't even know. See, that's how out of touch I am with milk gallons. So I don't have gallon containers. I'm rambling. So this is a dollar store shoebox. I bought, I believe, 8 of them at the dollar store in late January, early February, and I drilled holes in them, and that's what I'm using. Now, I did get some comments on that winter sowing project video that said, oh, that is not the thing to do. These containers are not going to last. They're not UV resistant. They're going to go through the heat and cold and the sunlight on them. It's going to make them shatter. You're going to have a lot of trouble with them. Well, you know what? You do you, I'll do me. This is what I'm doing. These are not shattering. You can see I can pounce them. They're flexible. So maybe in a different climate that's colder, or maybe in a climate that has hotter, more direct sun, this would be a bad idea. But for this year, it has worked for me. I'm not telling you what to do. So I'm just telling you what my experience has been. I'm sounding grumpy today. Why am I sounding grumpy today? I think it's because of the guys out there cleaning gutters and mowing lawns. I need more coffee. I haven't finished my morning coffee yet. All right, I'm normally a nice person, I promise. But, you know, in the gardening community, it is all about passing on advice from person to person, generation to generation. And so I think people are just genuinely, honestly helping you by offering their opinion about your methods. I often ask you to tell me about, do you see something that I'm doing wrong? So that's all good. I mean, I do encourage people to tell me, but I mean, it was kind of vehement. This anti-shoebox feedback was pretty strong. So I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, what do we have here? We have white foxgloves that I collected seeds from last year's foxglove. We have a Fairy Morse foxglove mix, and we have unidentified foxglove from Vermont Wildflower Farm. And you can see that my separation of plants has failed me, and that's probably because the water would come in this big hole. Some of them were small, but this one was big, and so it would move the seeds around on top of the soil. And also, these were sitting on a picnic table, and it was angled downhill, and so probably the water came in and washed seeds down in the corner. So we really don't know which seeds are which in here. That's fine. But these do seem to be doing pretty well. There's a nice thick collection of them. I'll be able to separate these out. Here we go. Can you see those? They're looking pretty nice. Soil's a little bit dry, but when you go down into it, it's not terribly dry. All right, foxgloves, definitely a success. Winter sowing is wonderful for foxgloves. Now, foxgloves are biennial, most of them. You can find same year foxgloves, but most foxgloves are biennial. And what that means is you sow the seeds, or the seeds fall off of the old plant and they go to the ground and they sow themselves. And then that next year, so like right now, the seeds germinate and they grow and they turn into these lovely green plants. And each of these plants, if I treat them well, will grow up into a mound about the size of half of a cantaloupe, I would say. Average, I don't know. There's probably some variation by variety. But they won't flower in this year. What they'll do is they'll grow a beautiful plant, get lots of good energy into their leaves and into their soil. I have a call. Do I have to take it? Okay, I had a phone call from a good friend of mine. It was worth taking, but I can't remember where I was on this video. This video is going to be one of my shining star moments, isn't it? Oh my gosh. All right, anyway, foxgloves. These are good. They'll be going outside. They will flower next year. I think that's what I was talking about. They'll have plants this year that they're storing their energy in the leaves and then down into the roots over the winter. They'll die back down to the ground over the winter, and then next year they'll put out, do they die down? Maybe they stay green. Don't recall. I think they stay green, actually. I am surprised any of you ever watch my videos. I don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. I just can't get my thoughts and I should do this another day, but I'm in it now, so here we go. Okay, so foxgloves. They're doing fine. Use winter sowing on these. Okay, good. Next, let's go here. These are Snapdragons, and I do have Snapdragons going in the basement under lights as well. And these were the ones that winter sowed. The ones that were going in the basement, they germinated weeks and weeks before these did. But it'll be interesting to see which ones end up being healthier plants in the long run. Okie dokie, Snapdragons. Oh, well, this is quite a wide variety of experiences here. We have tall Snapdragons over here and dwarf ones over here. It looks like the tall ones are short and the dwarf ones are tall. It looks like we might have had a little bit of shifting of seeds from rain, but I don't know exactly because they seem more clumpy. We also have some dieback in the center. It looks to me like the ones in the center died back maybe because of lack of water. That doesn't make sense to me though. They should be evenly watered. I don't know. Anyway, here, let's get a close up. See, these died back right here. I don't know why. And I've got some over here that are nice and tall and strong, and some over here that are pretty darn short. Same thing on this side. There are fewer on the dwarf side. There are more on the tall side. Okay, Snapdragons. Yes, for winter sowing. Excellent. Okay, this is a container of Columbine. I had some seeds that were in a packet. And I had some seeds that I collected from my own plants last spring. And they're both in here, so we'll take a look. All right, Columbine. They took a very long time to germinate, but they did eventually germinate. This is clearly not a Columbine, it's a weed, it's coming out. Okay, so it looks like the ones from the seed packet didn't do as well as the ones that I had harvested from my own plants. Now, it's possible that the rain again washed some seeds down. I'm not sure which variety these are, but let's take a look. They're looking pretty good. They're small, for sure. So I would say this Columbine project was a success, but if you're going to collect seeds off of your own Columbines, you'll probably have just as much success just letting them self-seed into the ground around your plants rather than caring for them in a winter sowing project. The problem with that method for me is that we are pretty tenacious weeders, and so self-seeded plants in my garden pretty much get treated like weeds a lot of the time. So if I want to guarantee that I have Columbines, this works for me. So if you're not that big on weeding, then maybe you can just let your Columbine plants self-seed in place. Same thing with foxgloves, actually. All right. These are forget-me-nots that came out of packets. This is a pink forget-me-not. It's called Victoria Pink. And then this is a variety of blue ones called Bluebird. Okay. Look at all the forget-me-nots, especially over here on this side. These are the pink ones, and these are the Bluebird ones. They are looking really, really good. Let's get close. Oh, look how thick and lush these are. Oh, so nice. These are the Bluebird ones. I don't know why they're much more sparse. And again, there's some dieback in the middle. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, these are good. You can tell forget-me-not seeds because, seedlings, because they have an oval leaf with a really deep crease down the center. And those are forget-me-nots. So I have some of these out in my patio area that are self-seeded from last year. And I can see that they're there. And so that's really nice. Forget-me-nots. Yeah. Okay, moving on to a different type of container. This was a pretzel jar. I had some feedback on my video that said maybe I should have turned this whole container upside down so that this would be the bottom and this would be a clear top to allow more sunlight in. I also was told I should take off the label so that it would be more of a full sun situation. That may or may not be, something that I'll do the next time. But I think for this experiment, it seems to have worked okay. Get this tape off of here. I don't remember what's in here, but there's a label inside, so we'll discover it too. All right, this is Lunaria. Excellent. Okay, so these plants have done very well. I remember that I only planted 5 holes, and in each hole I put 2 seeds, and they are definitely strong. Lunaria is another biennial, so it will put on a plant this year and grow the plant, and then next spring the plant will flower. So these have done well. I'm very happy with these. This one seems to have a little bit of scorch on it, and I think that is probably from the leaf touching the side of the container and either freezing while it was touching the side or getting some sun scorch on it. And I'm not sure which way that was, but in all, I think that plant will be perfectly healthy in the end. Okay, so I have 5 holes, each with 2 seeds, and out of that, I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 plants. So that is a 90% germination rate. Excellent. Very happy with that. Yeah! Oh, let me show you up close. There we go. And this is the scorched leaf. All right, let's look in this one. This is Echinacea purpurea, purple and white seed mix. And I'm surprised at the status of this one. I can already see it through the container. Kind of surprised. I thought this was going to be a sure bet. Oh, let me put this back in there. I thought this was going to be a sure bet, because Echinaceas are native, of course, wildflowers. But in here, I only see 2 seeds that germinated. So I'm surprised by that. So maybe my seeds were not viable because they were too old. I will try this method again with Echinacea with fresh seeds next time. Let's see what this one is. This is crazy. It's coming out the top. I don't know what that is. There's a small chance this is a weed that I didn't plant, but let's take a peek. All right, this is English Daisy double mix. And I don't know, I thought for a while, I saw this one plant growing so big compared to all the rest, and I thought maybe it's a weed that got in there and is different from everything else. I honestly don't know. It still could be a weed and everything else is the normal English Daisy. But I'm looking at the leaf shape, and actually this leaf does look like just a ginormous version of these smaller leaves. So maybe it's a, I don't know, an anomaly giant English Daisy. It does have a flower bud at the top. So, I don't know, I'm gonna love it and plant it and treat it like it's meant to be. I'm not going to treat it like a weed and put it in the compost pile. So yeah, English daisies really worked in the Winter Sowing method. I totally overseeded. I don't need this many, but yeah, those worked. And the last one, oh, next to last actually. These are Johnny Jump Up Violas. Johnny Jump Ups are a reliable self-seeder in the garden. Once you get them established, you have them forever, so you have to kind of like them. And they are little violet flowers that have yellow and purple all on the same flower. Okay, and they did work. We do have a lot of little plants in here. Yeah. Johnny Jump Ups. So that's good. But because Johnny Jump Ups typically, at least in our area here, I don't know about every other zone, but at least in our area, they do self-seed into the landscape if you allow them to. Winter sowing may or may not be necessary for you. Okay, and then I have one last container. I want to talk about it before I look into it. I put some seeds into a seedling start tray, a 72 count hex seedling starter tray. And this was a mistake. Do not use this container, because what happened was I have the watertight tray underneath, and then I have the cell packs in that tray, and then I have the lid, and I poked holes in the lid so that it could get rainwater. That's all, yes, according to plan, except this bottom tray had no drainage in it. The hex trays had drainage in it, but the bottom tray did not. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want to give up one of my watertight containers. I like having these for other purposes, so I didn't want to poke holes in it. But once I put everything in here, I taped it shut and I set it outside, what happened was the rainwater went in here, kept the soil moist, but also it waterlogged everything. And actually, at one point I saw standing water on this clear container. And so what happened was almost all of these seedlings got waterlogged and died, because look. that happened all winter long. So this was not a successful container for winter sowing seeds. Do not use this. Use something like this setup or a milk jug or something else. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we have in here. I had planted Chinese forget-me-nots, regular perennial forget-me-nots. I don't know what the difference is between the Chinese ones and the regular ones, although I do know their Latin names are different, but I honestly don't know the difference between the plants themselves or the flowers. And I do have some, but these forget-me-nots, I noticed when I discovered the standing water, then I untaped it and I dumped off the standing water. But I watched it happen. All of this soil washed down into the corner. And so I only have seeds sprouted in the corners here of this container, and everything up here either didn't sprout or died because of being waterlogged. Over here I had being the operative word, alyssum, 3 rows of alyssum and 3 rows of bachelor buttons. And there was a point in the season in March where the bachelor buttons were so gorgeous. I had full germination in every cell. They were lovely plants and they were going to be glorious. But then the waterlog thing happened. Also, when I took the tape off to let the water out, I spent an afternoon with the lid in the wrong position, and so these bachelor buttons actually got sun fried because of the way I mishandled the lid. And so the long and short of it is, do not use this style of container for your seed starting, your winter sowing, excuse me. Let me show you how the plants are doing a little bit closer up. There's the forget-me-nots, only in the corner cells. And there are the bachelor buttons. Most of them are dead. A few of them survived. And there are the alyssum. Most of them are dead. A few of them survived. Okay, so that is the story of my winter sowing projects for this year. This is the big reveal, the final status, the final report. Lessons learned. 1, do not use this kind of container. I can't say that enough. Lesson 2, if your seeds are hot summer annuals that really need that warm weather, probably not the best candidate for winter sowing, but it is good for perennials and it is good for cold season annuals. Probably also vegetables, but I have not tried any vegetables in this method. Let's see what else. The lesson about what to do with, will these kinds of containers work? I had success with mine, but that mileage may vary based on how cold yours get. If they freeze really cold, they might shatter, or if they get too hot or direct of sun. Like we have a lot of cloud cover in the winter, so if you live in an area that doesn't have much cloud cover in the winter, you have hot bright sun, even though it's cold, the sun is very direct, that might degrade the quality of your plastic as well. So your mileage may vary with regard to using these kinds of plastic containers. These came from the Dollar Tree. You can also find containers like this at places like Target or Walmart, or even like Home Depot or places like that, anywhere. I have seen on YouTube there was someone who used this style of plastic container, but what he did was he sprayed it with a spray UV protectant clear coat, and he said that he has found success with using this kind of plastic, spraying it with UV protector, and then it doesn't shatter. So that's a tip you might try. I didn't have trouble with mine, but you know, we all live and learn. Okay, so I will be saving these containers to use them again next winter. And as far as these water jugs are concerned, they did work for me. So if you don't drink a lot of milk or juice that comes in that big gallon container, or you don't have friends that do, then these would work as well. You could also use 2-liter soda bottles, or even like smaller water bottles. I've seen people sewing their winter sewing project into solo cups with a milkshake lid that has a hole in the top. And there's actually a gardener, let's see, what's her name? I forget her handle, but there's a YouTuber in New Jersey who had thousands and thousands, I'm not even joking, of solo cups that she planted with her winter sowing seeds and then used milkshake lids. So there's lots of different methods. Try stuff. See what works for you. Take the advice from people, but filter that through your own gut feeling and gut instincts, and just try things and see what happens. Don't be surprised if what you try doesn't work. That's okay. But also give yourself a little bit of credit and see what can work for you. Okay, so what am I going to do next with these? I'm going to put all of these containers outside into an area of my garden that gets like 2 hours of maybe not even any direct sun. I'm going to put them maybe into covered locations for the first couple of days so that all they get is like shaded indirect sunlight. Because even though they've been outside since February, they still can get sunburned because I've taken off their sunscreen covers. So I'll give them a couple of days in some full shade, then I'll move them into like part sun for a couple of hours and just treat them a little gently for the first 5 or 6 days. But then these are ready to be planted into the ground. Even though they're small, some of them, if you take care of them, you know, guard them around, like these Columbines, they're tiny, tiny. But if I could let them grow on in this container until they get a little bit bigger. But some of these are ready to go into the ground and really live their best life. So I'm so rambling. This video is not my finest work, but thank you for hanging out with me anyway. So just stop talking, Jenny. Just stop talking and say goodbye. Say goodbye to the nice people. Okay, friends, thank you for joining me. Check back with me the next time you're on YouTube, or you know what you could do is you could hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, and then YouTube will tell you the next time I'm here. That was a really cheesy plug. Okay, anyway, just be done. Just be done. All right, friends, thank you. This is me signing out. Have a wonderful day. Bye. I apologize. This is not my best video work, but welcome to my life.